Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. The RIP 28 podcast is a place where a few friends can get together and we can talk about a few different things. Now, some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking here on the RIP 28 podcast. Today, I got a couple of my homeboys here together. I got C. Nez in the top. What's going on, Nez?
C. Nez in the building once again, holding it down for the A-Town. Holla at your boy. Let's get it going, man. Got some good stuff. You be the judge if it's good or bad. We'll talk about it.
Down on the other side is the LBZ, the educator's educator. Holla at him.
What's going on, man? It's Beezy the Great, the educator's educator. Just here to educate you on something today. Let's get it.
And down on the other side, JK. What up, Dr. J?
Hey, nothing much. Just here chilling with my homeboys. We about to do a little reality TV. I guess it's not reality, because this is like real life here right now. So, but anyway, it's gonna be a good shot. It's gonna be a good show today. Buckle up.
Unscripted reality.
Well, speaking of unscripted reality, man, crazy things have been happening. Crazy things have went on in our America. We start off last week on January 6th. Olympus has fallen. Is it good to say that? That might have been what it was, man. A crazy day, man. We'll start out how this thing started out in the morning. First thing in the morning, they had a Save in America rally at the Ellipse. Now, the Ellipse, that's a park near the White House. That's where Donald Trump, who was questioning the legitimacy of the election. We could say that he was questioning the legitimacy of the election and said he did not believe that he actually lost. He ain't believe. He said it was a lot of fraud going on and he did not lose the election. So, as my man who didn't believe that the election was legitimate, he got a bunch of his followers out there and they started rallying things up, doing all these pro-Trump, all these getting live and getting rowdy. And Trump said, fuck it. Why don't y'all go on down to the Capitol and try to take this thing over? And that's where the white boys went. They went down to the
Capitol. And one black dude.
Oh, one black dude. They had one brother out there. One brother who went with them. Now, these fools, they head down to the Capitol. And the Capitol, the actual members of Congress, they had the meeting to count the electoral votes to where they would certify that Joe Biden is actually the president. So while they're counting the votes, you got these crazy white folk on the outside trying to storm the Capitol, trying to get out there and take this thing over, man. And that was can anybody ever picture anything like that happening?
Unbelievable, man. It was. I still can't believe that something like that happened. But there's a little bit of problems that came out of it. You know, I was talking to some of my boys before, talking to Juwan about it. I was like, can you imagine if us four went down there and tried something like that? That'd be we'd be flower bringing to the funeral if that was us.
Man, we wouldn't have made it as far as they did before the lives would have started getting we would have started losing lives, man. Sly, I'm gonna ask you a question. So you telling me as a black man, it's safer to go storm the Capitol building than it is to walk down the street as a 16-year-old black male with Skittles and an Arizona in your hand?
Look at it, and that's what's crazy to me, man. You know, how many incidents you've seen of a black man minding his own business not doing any, not doing anything illegal, or even if he was doing something illegal. Let's say the brother was doing something illegal. How many instances you seen of this brother getting shot, this brother getting killed, paralyzed, whatever? But now you got these white folks, they can go and take over the White House. Not the White House, I'm sorry, the Capitol building. The Capitol building is supposed to probably be one of the most secured buildings in the nation, in the world.
Federal crime.
Word on the street, they had allies in there helping them. And so,
yeah.
Of course, that's an inside job.
Yeah, so I don't know. Trump is just a thug, man. He call everybody else thugs, but you tell your vice president you're gonna be a man or you're gonna be a pussy. I'm just saying, like, how you go to him like that, man?
Hey, y'all do know this is a white on white crime. We don't get to say that much, but that was white on white crime.
But my thing is, this right here sums it up right here. This is exactly what it is. It's white privilege.
Definitely.
It's white privilege, man.
I'm trying to find me one of them cards, bro.
I need one in my life. I need my white privilege card.
You're not qualified.
Yeah. I'm pretty tall.
Check this out, Slide. I'm gonna tell you something. You know what those mayonnaise filled people look like going to that Capitol building? You know, when you go to somebody else's house when you was younger and how you jump all over the damn furniture hanging off a chandelier? That's what they look like. They call us monkeys, but they went out there and acted like pure D monkeys, jumping off of stuff, jumping through windows, climbing and just acting all sorts of ignorant. But they call us the ones that's irrational and quick to fly off the handle. If that ain't white privilege, if that ain't mayonnaise privilege, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and don't forget, they respect the police. That's what they say, right? We respect the police.
Mm-hmm. We back to blue. Blue lives matter.
Yeah, blue lives matter, right? Yeah, we see why. We see why blue lives matter. They don't respect them. You got people moving out the way, letting them go up the stairs.
Yeah, some of them was part of it.
I know that was part of the inside job. But let one of us or one of our black leaders get on there, Al Sharpton or someone, Malcolm X, and we get out there and incite a riot like Donald Trump did. They're gonna arrest us at least, and they're gonna beat the hell out of us when they arrest us. This man is walking scot-free, still claiming to be the president of the United States, man. This is crazy.
This is my thing. With all the blue lives matter, man. This right here blew my mind. For the people listening, I'm showing a video right now of the security, one of the Capitol security. And look at my man. That's the other side spraying mace on the police. Spraying mace on the police. That's the other side doing that, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy to me. And look, I had the volume muted, but that's the cop. You got the cop getting caught by the door, scrunched up by the door. They're punching the cop in the face, trying to take his mask off.
See, and that's what gets me. At that point, I would say that man's life is in danger. That's when you should be allowed to shoot.
Exactly. That's when your lethal force should be allowed right there.
It's not when like you got guys getting shot in the back. When they trying to run from the cops, your life's not in danger. They running from you. They're retreating.
That should give me a headache.
So I don't get it. I don't
get the
logic and the reasoning.
That was a blatant attempt to really overthrow the government, man. That was an attempt to kill democracy, man. I just couldn't imagine thousands, 3,000, 4,000 black people going to the Capitol building and only 4 people are dead.
And 2 of them was because they had health conditions.
And two of, yeah, right. So it's really 2 people. Are you serious? 2
people dead. Like you said, 2 people dead because they had health issues. But one of them, I ain't supposed to laugh, but goddamn it, I'ma laugh. One of them took one. This lady right here, this lady right here decides to try to go through a window, go through one of the windows. They had the place barricaded off. They had it barricaded off. The cop, I can't find the video because most places have taken the video down because it was graphic. You know, it showed the person getting killed. But this lady tries to climb through the barricaded window with the cops who have their gun pointed, their gun trained. The cops standing behind the door with their gun trained on this lady, and she like, fuck it, I'm still coming through. Hey, man.
Hey, that's another example of privilege because she didn't think they was gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we know better. They like, oh yeah, I can do this. I don't care if they got the guns pointed at me. But she was wrong on that time.
Listen,
bad occasion.
Sly, you say you shouldn't laugh, but this woman drove, if I'm not mistaken, she drove from California. Am I not right?
Yeah, she drove cross country.
Look, she drove over 2,000 miles knowing that she was going to go out there and do that. She put herself in harm's way.
I heard she had a diaper on, so she didn't have to stop.
I don't know about that.
Y'all remember that story?
Yeah, that's that lady did. The astronaut lady did that. That shit was hilarious.
But look, that's crazy though. You drive 2,000 miles, man, and you go out there and act a fool. I mean, you know the internet is undefeated, and they don't care. They had memes. Oh yeah, they got memes out there, plenty of them. So I mean, I don't know, man. That's just white privilege, man. I mean,
well, it's white privilege, and it's like I've been telling people. I think these jokers like this. It's a cult. It's a cult. Like literally, you going in the Capitol building, you're flying not American flags. You got some with American, but you got jokers got Trump flags. Like what's going on here? Like they're so deceived and they believe in anything this man says.
You know,
it reminds me. You know, people probably not agree with me when some people go to church, and sometimes that pastor just deceive them so much that they just believe anything he says. He can say.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm just saying. At some point, you got to use your head and think. And
they become blind.
Yeah, you got to think for yourself. Does this even make sense?
It's almost when you look into it a little deeper. I mean, I know y'all say white privilege, but if it was a bunch of black people or Hispanic people with the Trump flags and all that stuff too, they would have been kind of treated the same way. Do y'all think so? Because it was Trump.
Treated like what?
No. Trump getting this up. So they was his followers now. So if it was a bunch of them in the mix with all them, I think they would have got away with it too.
That one dude slid in on the coattail of somebody. But for the mass majority of black folks, we would have got our ass whooped.
It's according to what your purpose was. If we would have did that for Obama, oh yeah, everybody would have got. But Trump, he got his supporters.
Man, the masses would have turned on us. We can't gain entry. Get his ass. They would have turned on us.
They would have got us. Just like the black person getting killed first in a horror movie.
In a scary movie. You know it. You know we getting killed first.
But turning on black folk. It was one black chick. She was walking. She was minding her business, trying to get home. She was actually working, and she was trying to get home. To get to the bus or whatever, and the white folk kind of turned on her, started macing her and trying to pull out her hair and stuff like that. And then some white dude who started the jeering, he was actually talking shit to her in the beginning. He realized it was getting wild, so he kind of covered her up to escort her out. So, man, that's a bad day for, speaking of black folk, man, it's just a bad day for all black folk, man, to be caught up in that stuff, man.
Well, you don't want to be nowhere near that. I was riding with someone of the elderly generation, and they was like, every time I see a Trump flag, baby, I just get so nervous. I don't know what they might do. They so unpredictable, and he riles them up. So I mean, when it gets to that point, man, people gonna be on edge, and we ain't our ancestors, man.
And this is I'm glad you brought it up. We ain't our ancestors, man. We ain't our ancestors. But basically, this what should have been us. This what I think was during these riots, man. We standing back looking at look at these crackers over. Look at these crazy ass white folks over here. But it's interesting you bring up the point we are not ancestors, man. And a lot of times the youth, the generation behind us, we give them a lot of shit about them being crazy or they not being what we expect them to be as good people. But one thing you can say about these young people, man, they fearless. They're fearless. It ain't shit for them to start no protests and stuff like that and start to gather up for national protests. And truth be told, we didn't do it. And that's just the truth, man. Most of us 80s babies, kids born in the late 70s.
Sly, I just want to say we got a lot more stuff to lose. Like if we were 20, 21, yeah, we'd probably be out there acting the fool just like them.
But that's my point, though. We wasn't.
Yeah.
We did.
But it wasn't happening like this, though. It was not as prevalent.
It wasn't happening, but with the social media,
it wasn't as prevalent, I said.
You see everything now with the social media.
Yeah.
Is that you only see what happened in your community, your state back then when we was coming up. We didn't have Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. So now it's out there in the open for everybody in the world to see. And you can't deny it. Nobody can deny it.
Nope.
So the people who is against it or the people who's with it, you know where they stand now. A lot of people used to fake the funk, you know what I mean? They act nice in front of your face, but they go home, they calling you all kind of names and monkeys and all that stuff, You can't hide it no more.
Hey, cell phone cameras catch everything, dog. You can't go nowhere and think you're getting away with nothing.
This is true. One thing people don't realize also too is that we could have really had like a foreign entity perform a real terror act, and just join in with those fools, get inside the building, and wreak havoc. Just imagine if that had actually happened, right?
You don't take that into consideration.
I think about that all the time, man. I'm like, we are weakening ourselves internally to set us up for somebody to come and take over. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was thinking about this before. If you look back in history, all dynasties come to an end at some time. United States been the dynasty, the greatest place in America for a long time. If we don't get our stuff together, man, it's gonna come to an end, and ain't nobody gonna like that.
Well, we think we've been the greatest, but those Trumpsters, they think we got to make America great again. And they tearing it down. That's what they're doing. They're not making America great again.
It's a win great to a lot of people.
And it's also leading to the third civil war. That's what's gonna happen because it's gonna or whatever. How many was it?
One.
How many has it been? One? Well, two. The second.
Educator.
That's right.
Damn, you the one educating my kids.
Hey, but check this out. Check this out on a real note. It's gonna get bad, man, because like I said earlier, people are starting to get on edge when they see a lot of these white folks starting to gather now. And like you said, these younger folk ain't gonna sit up there and sit back and let this thing happen. They're gonna be out here, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems.
That's what I truly believe, man. I truly believe these young kids, man. These young kids are fearless. They are fearless. Now I can say how much I hate Lil Uzi Vert and Lil Boat, Lil Yachty, and all that, but these young kids who follow Lil Uzi and Lil Boat and all that shit, hey man, they're fearless out there. They are fearless. So let's keep fast forwarding throughout the day. The white lady got shot, Babbitt, I think her name Ashley Babbitt. She got shot and killed. But the white folks still kept pushing on. They kept pushing on, and finally they made it to a point where they actually made it to the House of Representatives floor. They made it to the chamber's floor. And these white folks having a good time, man. I don't know how to explain it other than they was having the fucking time of their life. And it is amazing to me when you look at some of the pictures and everything that happened that week of the dude with his feet on Pelosi's desk, the people hanging on off of the banner, man. They walking around. They walking around the capitals. They're walking around the floor, just chilling. To me,
Yeah, the one dude had the Pelosi podium.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
and they took mail. Like, that's a federal crime. You went in there and took Nancy Pelosi's mail.
They took I think they took tops and iPads, and I'm like, dude, y'all.
Man, you know, it's crazy. Y'all know I used to live in Arkansas, and I got face screening from Arkansas and all this, and it was amazing to me that the comments that some of these people were saying, it was like, oh man, this is priceless. This is great. You know, showing pictures like you said, the dude with his feet kicked up on the desk and stuff. They was like he was the man. They was like, oh man, the dude was from Arkansas, I think.
Yeah, he was from Gravette, Arkansas.
Yeah, and there was some people on my timeline that are no longer on my timeline. But it was like, they was like, yes, man, that boy representing for us. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow. I'm kind of glad I got up out of there.
I don't believe in that though. I don't take them off my friends list. I don't take those type of people off my friends list because I want to know who you are. I want to know what you think. If you think that shit is cool, if you think that's the man, I need to know where you at all times.
I don't have to go back there ever again in my life. So.
Well, you might. You never know. You never know.
He said, no, I ain't going back there.
If I gotta go back there, I'll do something else.
I mean, what if you have to go back there to run a seminar or something, like not necessarily move.
Oh yeah.
But what if you got to go back there? You know, your company send you back there to run a seminar or something like that. You know, I want to know who these folk is. Like, we got a classmate, man, who sit and talk the world about how Trump is a godly man and Trump really supports.
Hold on, who is this?
Jason Brown.
Oh, okay. I wasn't friends with him on the thing, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, if you follow him on Facebook because I want to hear what he got to say. And my favorite thing is when you circle one of these cats into a corner. When they say how Trump is so godly and believes in family, then you come back and say the man been divorced 3 times. I guess he believes in having a lot of families. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. It's interesting.
You catch him stuttering right there. Well, no, that but that's okay. I'm like, So I never want to get these people off my timeline. I want to keep them on there forever.
Do you respond to them?
Yeah, I respond to some of them. Some of them I respond, and I drop my 2 cents in. It all depends. Like the people say, man, I got time today. If I got time today, I'll do it. But if I don't have time, I'll say, okay, whatever, and keep it going. But I've noticed with some of those people who we went to high school with, because our high school, the demographics changed, and we were there while the demographics were changing. Because our freshman year, it was a whole lot more white folk by the time our senior year came. The school might have been 65-35 or 65. Yeah, 65-35. No, not even that. Probably 60-40. Probably 60-40 black to white our freshman year. By the time we graduated our senior year, it was probably 80-20 black.
Yeah, that's probably what, something like that.
But my sisters went to Columbia High too, and it probably was the other way around.
Yeah, when they went.
It was probably 70% white, 30% black when they went. And it was what they call it, white flight.
Yeah.
They moved to Irma and Dutch Ford.
They kept going.
Yeah, but it always
further
happened.
north.
Yeah, it always happened that, right? They'll move out, we'll move in, then they'll move further out.
Mhm.
You know, that's just the way it is.
And then how it
And we
reversed
going
even
with 'em.
further. They go out, they keep going further out, and we keep following, and then they come back to the city.
And get it up and it's nice.
Yeah. They come back in the city, man. And so
It's the cycle.
but I find but that's why I still have a lot of these people I went to high school with, a lot of mayonnaise colored people I went to high school with. I keep them on my timeline because I want to know what they think. I really want to know. So
Yeah, it amazes me how evangelicals how they empower him,
mhm.
and they put him up on this pedestal like he's a god and he was sent by God to do God's work, but they turn their head or turn their eyes to the stuff that he does do that's just hateful and just Jesus
Just
Christ would never do that.
just like history, man.
Yeah, so
Look in the Bible and look at these kings, man. You know, they had all kind of stuff going on that you wouldn't think a good person would do, but they were raised up and exalted as great leaders and great kings, even though like just think about some of the, I want to say, was it Solomon, David? They had 1,000 wives and 400 concubines, all kind of stuff, but they was the greatest leaders ever. You know what I mean? Like we can't do nothing like that.
Well,
I mean,
that was
but
probably back then, though.
they talking about they leadership, not their moral fiber.
But okay, this was
You could be a good leader. You could be a good leader in front of people, but when you go home, it might be a different story. You might need them 400.
You know, it's an article about Martin
Might
Luther
have been a
King right
long
now
day,
about him and
long day, Slap.
his side pieces.
Yeah,
That was
I've seen that
so
before.
so.
But you know what? My thing when I see stuff like that about Martin Luther King, man, I'm like, I say, fuck it. I don't choose to believe it, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't choose to believe it. I'd rather keep my head in the sand because my thing is, I think personally, I believe in conspiracies, man. You got a man who did so much for his people. You can say everything to bring them down. Now that's me keeping my head in the sand, but me knowing pastors and how these people get down, it wouldn't surprise me.
But
Man,
Sly, look, what you just Sly, what you just said is the same thing that these Trump supporters do. It's the exact same thing. He's doing so much great stuff that everybody just trying to pull him down, and I'm not gonna believe anything anybody else say. I'm just gonna believe what he said.
I just think about Martin Luther King.
But that's what he do.
Think how much stress Martin Luther King was under. He was like, hey, I'm going to hit one of these followers drop me off real quick.
Coretta should understand. Coretta should understand. Let me bust.
But at the end of the day, I just say everybody is imperfect, and so acknowledge that. Yeah, that's not right. But the other stuff he's doing is great, right? So it doesn't. He still did great things, but it just gets me when they turn their head and act like stuff didn't happen.
All
like he didn't say that, or he didn't do that. So.
All a matter of perspective. But I mean, what can you tolerate? It's kind of like an NBA player, NFL player. You know, if you got a baller who can drop 30 points a game, you can deal with him. Not coming to practice every once in a while, doing all this. If you got that scrub on your team missing practice, you gonna kick him out the team. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's checks and balances, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that. Now let's fast forward a little bit through the rest of the day. The rioters, and I'm not even, I don't call them protesters. I call them rioters. I call them exactly what they are, insurgents, rioters. You know, they riot, they take over the Capitol. People behind the scenes are begging Donald Trump to make a statement. They're begging him to make a statement, to make a statement. He never makes a statement. Finally, he comes in and he makes a video plea, and he spends the first 30 seconds of the video talking about how he was robbed in the election. And after he talks about how he was robbed in the election, he goes on and says, okay, it's time for y'all to leave. Let's make this safe. And he gives a plea for them to leave. And then he ends it one more time talking about how he was robbed.
No, you gonna forget. He said, "I love you."
I love you.
Really?
You know, he tells the rioters that he loves them. So I think, where was this love in June when Black Lives Matter came down there? Where was all that love at then? You know, that love wasn't there when Black Lives Matter came. So finally, the people start to disperse a little bit. They start to get out a little bit, start rioting a little bit more, but they get out. And then the mayor, Muriel Browser, the mayor of DC, strong Black sister. Side note, what I love about this Black lady so much, she decided to, after the protests and the riots, she decided to paint the street leading to the White House in bright yellow letters saying Black Lives Matter on the street. On the street, so you had to see it lead to the White House. That's what I like, because she blackity black. You know, the black man charged of Chocolate City. So what she decides to do, she decides to impose a 6:30 curfew. She imposes a 6:30 curfew on the city. And then at 6:30, that's when the DC cops came out. Now, Washington, DC is Chocolate City. It's a whole lot more brothers on that police force than the normal police force. So that enforcement of that curfew looked a whole lot different than the security at the Capitol. You got to see some heads being, you know, I hate to be that guy, but shit, I was ready for it. I said, finally, we can see some heads being cracked here in Washington, D.C. The heads being cracked the way I want them cracked. And they pretty much emptied the streets that night. But one thing though that showed me during that day, we always talk about cops being able to show restraint, being able to have, cops need to be properly trained on how to deal with people. So therefore, you know, more innocent people, more innocent Black folk don't get shot and don't get killed by the police. But that all those days events, they showed me that the cops are trained. They know how to not escalate a problem. They know how to not shoot somebody. It's just that they choose
not to.
They choose not to. You know what I'm saying? They choose to go and put some lead into a brother's ass while he's sitting in a car with his family.
You know why though?
Because it don't look like him who they shoot.
And they can get away with it.
Yo, they can get away with it. They can get away with it. Yeah, you're right. That's why. That's why they get away with it. When stuff like that go down, and they know they don't even worry about getting in trouble for shooting Black folk, because they can pull out that car. They pull out that white privilege car.
Check this out.
They pull it out.
Ain't never fair.
They pull it out, and that's what's it.
Out of all the Black people that's been shot by cops, how many have been convicted, not brought up on charges, convicted? Okay, so would that give you any resistance to putting one in a Black man? If you know the precedent has been set that I'm not going to be convicted. Yeah, I know.
Get a few days. They gonna get a few weeks vacation.
Yeah,
paid
vacation.
Paid vacation, exactly. So I mean, why not?
Paid vacation and still can get their retirement plan and everything.
And their family doesn't have to suffer one day.
Like what's so crazy? Walter Scott, the brother in Charleston who was shot, and this is a 60-year-old man who got out of his car. He got pulled over, routine traffic stop, and he started to run. Now, if you saw the video of this old ass man running, he's the most janky old man run in the world. But the cop managed to shoot him in the back 3 times. Okay, That's wrong. That's bad. Even the people of Charleston said, okay, that's wrong, so we're going to arrest this man. But the cop's wife was pregnant. So they petitioned for him to keep his benefits so the wife could have a baby. See, that's the shit that get me. That's the shit that get me. And then I didn't want to fast forward to this so quick, but we started to talk about the after effects of these riots when they start to arrest some of these people. The FBI came in, and so they decided to rescue some of these people. Now, one of the guys they arrested was Christopher Georgia. Christopher Georgia, he's from Alpharetta, Georgia. They arrested him when they found he was arrested for unlawful entry upon public property and violating the 6 p.m. curfew in connection with last week's storming of the Capitol by President. They arrested this guy out of Atlanta. He pleaded not guilty. He came home. He ain't even stay in jail. He bailed out, came home, shot himself in the chest and killed himself, committed suicide. You know, okay, that's bad, whatever. You know, but this man's job, his profession was a banker. His profession was a banker. It was his job for people to go to and ask for loans, for home loans, for business loans, and stuff like that. And now this is a white man who showed you he's a Trump supporter, doesn't care, you know, and now you got to put everything that comes along with being a Trump supporter. If he has the power and the authority over giving people loans, over letting people start new lives with houses and creating their own businesses, how many black folk you think this man turned down? You know, if you
99.9%.
There it is. You know what I'm saying? And people say, oh, racism don't exist. Racism. Now, this man might not go out and call black people niggas if he see them on the street. But there's other type of racism out there. He don't have to go out and call you a nigga if he see you on the street.
Systemic racism.
There you go.
Systemic racism.
And so I follow.
That's how they get us. It's not the violence anymore, the physical threat of slavery or racism or whatever. It's the systemic. They keep us down, man. Jobs, houses, automobile, loans, healthcare, whatever. You know, but you know, it's tough, boy. Like Chan said, I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, but I think, like I tell my guy who mentor, that people, they're not gonna give you anything. If anything, they're gonna try and take stuff from you. So you gotta fight. You gotta fight back. I mean, you gotta do what you need to do to gain what you can gain, because they're not gonna give it to you. If you want to sit here and expect them to give us reparations for years that your great grandparents were slaves, and whereas you got people who were given land, given stuff, and inherited all this stuff, you're not gonna get that stuff. As much as they talk about, you're not gonna get it. You gotta do what you do to take stuff back. So.
My pops always told me, man, you gotta be 3 times better than that white guy get that job. You know what I mean? Or even like in Little League baseball, I remember playing at St. Andrews Park. Man, I used to hit home runs all the time. And I remember one year I didn't even make the All-Star team. They picked some other people that was nowhere near as good as me, I guess, because they had them connections. You know, it started from a young age, and you start to see it at a young age, and then reluctantly, and I didn't say reluctantly, but unfortunately, we saw that at a young age. Like you said, Sly, earlier, we didn't really do nothing about it. These young folks ain't playing.
They ain't playing. And that's what I love about. I love about these young kids, man. They not playing. They ain't down for the shit. They ain't down for it. Now let's fast forward. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the repercussions that happened. And one more time, this guy right here, excuse me, your guy in in I don't know what it is, the bull horns on his head and
The Viking hat.
the Viking hat or whatever. This cat right here, you know, he's a very easily identifiable person. Very easily identifiable person. He gets caught. And you know, they do what they do, and they say, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna arrest you, take you to jail. Great. That's all fine and good. You're gonna put this man in jail the way he needs to be put in jail. But hold up. He pulls out his favorite card. He pulls out that white privilege card one more time, and he goes and tells the jail that he has to eat an organic meal plan. He can't eat regular prison food. He has to eat an organic meal plan. That's what his mom did. His mom came to the judge crying, saying he needs to eat an organic meal plan. And sure enough, they decided to go ahead and work something out for the man.
Show that card one more time, Sly. Put it up. Show
That's what it is,
Sly.
man.
Hey, well, if you got enough money to get a good lawyer, you can get away with that too now. So you gotta say, hey, I only eat organics. He let other dudes slide. How you gonna let me slide?
There it is. There it is.
Bro, you can have whatever lawyer
Everybody who goes to jail can use that now.
You can have whatever lawyer you want. If your black ass go to jail and say you only gonna eat organic food, you think Johnny Cochran can get you some organic food?
I'm sorry, I only eat fried chicken.
Let's see how that work out for you. Let's see how it work out for you.
I know it.
So
you're gonna get that green turkey ham, that spoiled green turkey ham like everybody else.
Brian act like he know.
Well, we'll talk about that off the air.
Well, we fast forward and start to count the number of arrests. You know, the FBI put up on their Twitter page and they put on their web page talking about a lot of the people who were arrested. A lot of people who were arrested, and so far, I think they have arrested over 85 people so far. So far, that was as of that was Tuesday, as of Tuesday the 12th. They arrested over 85 people and counting. Now they still have warrants and stuff out on other folks. One of my most favorite stories, and I can't find a picture of the dude. It was a dude who stormed the Capitol, a rider who stormed the Capitol, and he had the zip bands. He had like a bunch. He was holding a bunch of the, what do you call it, the little white zip ties or whatever they use for handcuffs.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of them. He had a bunch of them kind of held up on his hand, and he holding them in his hand as he's walking, you know, as he's on the Senate floor. So if you holding these zip bands, what you holding these bands for? Are you about to kidnap a congressman? That's the only thing I have in my mind. But my man had a mask on and all of that full stuff on. But he got turned in. Guess who turned him in?
The wife.
His ex-wife. His ex-wife turned him in.
Man, hey, that's a lesson to LeBron and Sly. Don't do nothing wrong, bro. They gonna get you.
I already know my ex-wife.
Hey, but for real though, while you was talking about that situation, it was another situation.
What you say, man?
I said, hey, don't do nothing wrong. Your ex-wife gonna get you. but to talk about another situation, it was a guy who had a van parked across. I don't know if it was across the street, but down the road, had all kind of explosives, had all kind of guns and everything, man, up in there. And you know, he was coming there with bad intentions. And
exactly.
Y'all hear about that one?
I heard of them finding pipe bombs.
Yes.
They found pipe bombs all around the place. You know? And I'm like,
this dude had C4.
Yeah. And this is my thing. And this is why I keep this is why I keep all these people on Facebook, all these Trump supporters on Facebook. I say, okay, yeah, it's a peaceful rally. It's a peaceful rally. That's what you said it is. But all the Black Lives Matter, you ain't see no C4. You ain't see nobody with rifles. You ain't see nobody out there with pipe bombs at no Black Lives Matter rally. But why these peaceful Trump supporters got all this type of weaponry?
It started to make you think, because which one of y'all can call somebody and buy some C4?
Yeah. Yeah. Where the hell you C4?
Like, it just made me wonder, like, how do you get that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, somebody they got to have these inside connections. So if you drill down into it, it ain't just them. People closer to the people that we supposed to trust and love, military people, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, where do you get this artillery from? It's crazy.
Bruh, imagine, Cedric Entertainer had a good joke about that. He said he used to be an insurance salesman. He used to be an insurance salesman, and they would call on him whenever they had the angry black person. They would call on him to do the negotiation and talking with the angry black person. And he said, black people call up and say, man, I'm gonna blow this place up. And then Sid was like, come on, man, come on. How many black folk you know who can go out and buy some C4 to blow something up? We know you ain't about to blow it up, bro. You know? And that's basically what it is, man. We don't have them contacts to go and do that type of stuff, man.
No.
But yeah, we the angry and we the violent ones. How that work? How that happen?
Crazy. Hey, you know, they talk about black on black crime a lot when they try to say, you know, you talk about all this and that, but y'all just doing black on black crime. And I'm like, you know, it's a how do you say it? It's a situation that we've been put in. You know, it's like, you know, crabs in the barrel type of thing for a lot of black people. It's like you trying to dig from the bottom of the barrel just to get somewhere to make something, and they put you in them societies or that social environment that it make you fight for each other. If you put the white people in the same thing, they gonna do the same thing too. I mean, we just put in a bad situation and a lot of times. So it ain't necessarily just because you black on black or brown on brown. It's that environment that you've been put in. And a lot of them don't understand that.
Yeah, people at the end of the day just trying to survive, and that's what it boils down to. And like you said, if you put white people in that same situation, they gonna do what they gotta do to survive.
Yeah, everybody trying to make it. They got to.
And my thing, what I get a laugh out of when somebody say black on black crime, man, crime is committed by people who close to you.
Yeah,
that's how crime works. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. You can't go cross town to rob a white person when you see a black person right there in front of you. That's what white people commit crimes against white people too. You know, statistically, that's how it works. You commit a crime, whoever you closest to. That's how crime works. So I always get a laugh out of white on white or black on black.
Not necessarily. I mean, smart people don't commit crimes against people right next door to them, and then very easily to get caught.
we had a homeboy who committed a crime right the road from his house.
You're right. You're right. I know who you're talking about.
Hey, look, some people don't be thinking through it, so.
Bruh, but most crimes are committed within a 2-mile radius of where you live. You know, it is what it is, man. And that's white, black, green, or purple. Yeah, I don't know. Gotta do better. Gotta do better. All right. Fast forward, we're getting a little bit closer. We fast forward this timeline a little bit further. Finally, after midnight, everybody's reconvened. The Congress finally finished counting the votes, and they declared Joe Biden the victor. And he will be your next president on January 20th. Now, fast forward a little bit to the next day, you see the destruction. You go through some of these offices, and you see how people have torn apart the offices, broken the computer screens, broken mirrors. Now, you don't know what these riders have stolen from the Capitol. One of them walked off with the podium. We saw that. Dude walked off with the damn podium. But you don't know what secret government information they have taken, who actually was a rider, and who could have been some type of Al Qaeda informant or something up in there trying to get information, So now you fast forward and you start to deal with the fallout. Now the fallout is people starting to get arrested. They're starting to, and the internet is so quick with things, man. You starting to figure out who are these people. You see they photos, and more people start to get recognized before they could get arrested. So now you have to worry. Now these people are getting arrested. And this is something I found out. I didn't know if you guys know this, but a president can pardon you. A president can pardon you before you commit a crime. Not before you commit a crime. He can pardon you before you are even arrested for committing a crime. A lot of people didn't know that. So let's say if Trump issues a pardon to somebody, if Trump issues a pardon to Chance, he can if he issues that pardon on January the 10th, every crime that every federal crime that Chance has committed before January 10th is pardoned. Now they might not arrest him. They might not arrest you, Chance, to March 21st. But if you committed the crime before January 10th, you got a presidential pardon. That's how far his pardon stuff go. So now you
to me that just don't seem fair. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being jealous. It just don't seem fair that people could just be. It just doesn't seem right to me with all these people in jail. And, I think I don't think you should serve your time. I think you should get off scot-free.
I guess that's the reason they're impeaching him now,
And see that's the thing. They're trying to impeach him. They're trying to vote to kick him out of office. He's actually been impeached. By the time we recorded this, he's been impeached. But now it's whether or not putting him out of office to ratify him getting out of office. But the worry is that on January 20th is when Biden becomes president. Well, on January 19th, Trump can go out and lay down a blanket pardon for whoever he can pardon his kids, pardon his brothers, pardon whoever he wants to pardon on January 19th. And like I said, every federal crime, even if these people haven't been arrested, every federal crime that they committed before January 19th is wiped off the books.
Hey, I just want to say one thing real quick. I know if I'm a white brothers and sisters that may be listening to this, and it ain't us, talking about black and white or anything like that. It's just Trump, man. It's like Biden got elected. He white. We voted. A lot of people voted for Biden. It ain't like nobody should hear racist like that. It's like this dude here just turned the whole world around, just turned the whole nation around and separated everybody way farther than it was before. I'm not saying there was no separation before, but he just brought it out to another level. And it ain't like I mean, when you got a president, once they get elected, you ride with them. You know what I'm saying? But this dude here, man, is just off the chain. I ain't never been one like him. Never, ever, ever. So it ain't a racist thing. It's just that this dude has no no feelings or nothing for us or anybody else. And even poor white people, he don't care about them either. He just care about the rich people who's gonna make him look better. You know what I mean? And that's what I think they don't understand. They
Ah,
they ride with him, but they not. He don't care about y'all
I don't think he care about anybody but himself, myself.
either.
Honestly, because he throw everybody under the bus. So yeah, so but yeah, I agree with Chance. Like he gave these, and we done said this before. He gave these people a free pass to say whatever they want to say, and that's what's causing this division because they feel like I can say, and it's okay because Trump does it.
Uh, it is amazing to me. He is an amazing guy. He is an amazing guy. So, well, fellas, we coming up close to the end, man. We're gonna have to wrap this thing up. So before we get out of here, man, any parting shots from anybody? We start off with you, LB's in the top. What you guys say?
Hey, man, all I can say is stay protected, keep your eyes open, man. Stay safe and be aware of what's going on around you, man.
JK, Dr. J.
It's a lot to be said. I think we said a lot too. Yeah, you just wonder what's gonna happen in the next week, the next 2 weeks. Hopefully this thing dies down, but like B said, be ready, be prepared, and know who your neighbors are. I'm just saying, like I say, it's like keep them close. You want to know how they think, just so you know how to judge them. It's like, that's all I gotta say.
See, Nez.
And everybody just love everybody, man. It ain't that hard. It's just treat people like you want to be treated. That's the only thing I got to say. It ain't that hard. You know how you want to be treated. Treat other people the same way. It don't matter what they look like. It don't matter what their color is. Everybody bleed red. Let's love each other.
Well, folks, man, this has been another exciting episode of the RIP 28 podcast. Man, we had a great time sitting up here talking, getting the little things off our chest. But we'd like to let everybody know, man, we're a RIP 28 podcast. It's a place where we talk about a few things. Now, some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like. But on the RIP 28 podcast, we're going to keep on talking about it because that's what we do. We'll see you next week.
Holla.
Freedom.